G'day Raleigh, we're back for another episode on the This is Raleigh podcast, and you know that we all think Raleigh is a great place to live, but what about to travel here? Today we have a special guest joining us, Jess Holt from Visit Raleigh, and she's going to share all about her own personal connection to Raleigh as well as why you want to visit here. But don't worry if you live here, because you know we encourage that you act like a traveller in your own backyard. So Jess is going to share some cool things happening in Raleigh this year that I'm sure you want to know. So welcome, Jess. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, no matter where we visit, what cities, or even if we're living in a place, we love to talk to the locals, and probably can't get someone much more local than you. Born and bred in the Triangle area.
That's right.
And yeah, it's your actual job to talk about Raleigh. Like, that's pretty cool.
It's a really fun one. It's part of why I've been in the industry for nearly 11 years now, because I love what I do, and it's part of what I like to do in my free time, but also for my day-to-day work.
Mm-hmm.
What a great advocate for Raleigh, because you are genuinely a local. So can you tell us a little bit more about your life growing up in Raleigh and what led you to then get a job as a director of PR?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Durham, North Carolina, so right here in the heart of the Triangle, and moved to a small town called Creedmoor. Grew up there, but really came to Raleigh to do things most of my life, going to the mall, movies, all the things teenagers want to do to get out of their parents' house.
Yeah, we're pushing our kids out to do that now too. I hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, so we didn't have much of that available in Creedmoor, so I always grew up coming to Raleigh my whole life and always loved it. When I went to college, I went to North Carolina State University. Go Pack!
Well done on the win.
Yeah.
Thank you, ACC champions. Very excited, and excited to see us go dancing here. So
When does the Pack play in the first game?
They play tonight at 9:40.
Okay, awesome. Five wins in 5 days is incredible.
Wild.
Like,
I've never seen anything like it.
I'd be exhausted. Like, it's, just
Same.
a game of pickup, and like, I'm done. But,
exactly. So North Carolina State University, officially made me a Raleigh resident, and I have been here ever since. Been with Visit Raleigh now for over 10 years, and really just utilizing my degree from NC State, working in communications and parks, recreation, tourism management.
Cool. I'm glad you said Durham and Raleigh and not Raleigh-Durham, because we get in trouble when we say that. Like, it's a bit of a hot topic, yeah?
Yeah, they're two very distinct, different cities. Much love for both, but two different, distinct cities, and the only Raleigh-Durham is the airport.
Yeah, that's what I always say, because people say, let's call Raleigh-Durham Airport. I was like, yeah, because it's literally smack bang in the middle.
And then it's actually in Morrisville.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like us, like
There you go.
the capital of Australia is Canberra, or Canberra, or however you want to say it, but like, it's halfway in between Sydney and Melbourne. They didn't know where else to put it, so that's what they did. So
There you go.
yeah.
There you go. So part of your job is obviously to let people know why they want to visit here. So what do you tell people? What do you think are the main reasons people want to come here, and what sets it apart from other tourist destinations, I guess?
Yeah, the variety of options we have is one of the main reasons I tell people that they want to come here. Usually I want to dig in more to what they're interested in, because we have such a variety that it's hard to pinpoint just one thing. But really, again, the mosaic of our restaurant scene, our beautiful museums that are all free to visit, our outdoor parks and recreation, sports events, and then just even events and festivals that happen throughout the year. There's kind of a little bit of everything, but then also if you're into sports or family travel or whatever it may be, there's definitely a whole avenue and plethora of things you can do also in Raleigh.
Yeah. I can imagine a lot of people are coming into Raleigh because of those sporting events and festivals, and it's such a great draw card, I think, for the city to pull people in.
It definitely is. Outdoor sports events are what brought us back after the pandemic first thing, and lots of youth and amateur sports. Also with North Carolina FC Youth here, one of the nation's largest amateur soccer leagues. So lots of kids coming in for tournaments, and then their families finding something to do when they're not playing. So that really helps. And then also, of course, we have our Carolina Hurricanes hockey team. And so we're hopeful for another Stanley Cup playoff run this year with them as well. But they've been doing great.
Yeah, that's fun.
Hope so.
They are looking good. We were here in 2006 when they won the Stanley Cup, which was crazy. So it'd be nice to replicate some of that.
It definitely would.
Did you go to Game 7 for then? No?
Not in 2006, no.
Yeah. Okay.
But
tickets are probably very hard to come by.
I have gone
guess.
to first and second round playoff games here at the past few years, and it's it's electric, the atmosphere at PNC Arena during those games.
Yeah, we need to do that. Go to some playoff games. We've been to regular season games, but no playoffs yet. So
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen ice hockey anywhere else, so I can't compare it. But just watching the Canes live here, it's now become my favourite live sport to watch because it's just mad fun in there. Like,
Yes, it's
crazy.
thrilling.
Yeah.
And again, the atmosphere is electric when you're inside
Yeah.
versus just watching it on TV.
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, no, Raleigh definitely ticks a lot of boxes. Like everyone that comes to visit us, either friends or family, is like how green it is and all the trails and the neighborhoods and the wooded stuff, which is definitely appealing to us. Like when you fly into RDU, speaking of RDU, it's like literally flying into a forest, which is cool. Versus some other airports I won't mention. But,
Oh, they're horrible.
yeah. Hello, Phoenix. But yeah, the sporting stuff, obviously, like the Canes you mentioned, and then the nearby Durham Bulls, which is cool. But yeah, all the college stuff through state and all the other schools and that. Women's soccer in particular is huge. And like
North
the Courage
Carolina
just
Courage
kicked
just
off again. And we went to the opening game of NCFC the other night, which is also cool. So yeah, there's always a lot going on like in and around Raleigh. And obviously like there's all the towns too. So like there's endless events and festivals. Like with Apex and Wake Forest and Holly Springs, Fuquay. I know you guys, Visit Raleigh, cover all that too. Because our account being This Is Raleigh, we always get the comment, you know, if we say something in Apex or Wake Forest, this is Apex, not Raleigh. I'm like, well, yeah, but it's Wake County and it's one of the municipalities within the Raleigh area. So it's always fun.
Yeah, that's something with Visit Raleigh. We do cover all of Wake County, so it's actually Raleigh and 11 other municipalities. So I like to tell people we cover everything from A to Z, Apex to Zebulon.
Yeah, I
There you
love
go.
that. And yeah, why wouldn't you? Because part of the Wake County's charm are these wonderful little neighbourhood areas.
Right,
that
and
we
it's where
have.
many people live that work in Raleigh or the
Yeah.
Research Triangle Park.
Yeah, exactly.
And are you finding people who are visitors to Raleigh coming in, they're also interested in discovering and exploring those neighbourhoods as well?
They definitely are. You know, it's a mix. We have a good bit of visitors that come in specifically for visiting friends and relatives. So a lot of
yeah.
times they're in those towns already visiting their friend and relative. But also, especially after they've come once already, then they want to uncover like the deeper and more and another authentic side of Raleigh. So where do the locals hang out? Where are people actually living in their, you know, third place that they like to go to after work, things like that. And so that's really where I think the other towns shine and can really uncover a lot of cool, unique things that many residents don't even know about.
Yeah, that's so true.
Totally.
Yeah.
So where are most people coming from at the moment? Like road drive-in destinations, fly, drive, like any particular demographic that they're mostly coming from?
Yeah, we get a good mix of visitors here in Raleigh. We definitely have, you know, we are a drive market. So for the whole state of North Carolina, really, because we are the capital city, we're also the largest county in all of North Carolina, second largest city to Charlotte, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And so we do have a lot of people just driving in from there, but then we've really seen a growth over the past few years in people flying in. And some of the markets that have really been growing is from like New York, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, definitely growth also from Texas and California as well, because we find many of those people are coming here for work or potentially wanting to move here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in a lot of like travel Facebook groups online, and I don't know if it's just the algorithm being smart, knowing that I'm from Raleigh and I've commented a couple of times, or this is just the reality. But I'm seeing so many people now commenting, oh, I'm coming to Raleigh for the first time. I've decided to check Raleigh out. What is there to do and see there? And so it's been really interesting to just see this explosion. And again, I don't know if it's the algorithms or not, just sensing that, but
Probably a little of both.
a little of both. Yeah, yeah.
You know how
it's
much
exciting
it
to
stalks
see.
you and watches you.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm like, how does it know I'm commenting in groups? But anyway, so that's just really exciting to see. And there's been quite a huge diversity of people, like families, a lot of girls coming here on getaways or weddings, and they're always kind of saying, what do I need to do? I'm coming in for 1 or 2 days. What's unmissable? So what would you recommend as the unmissable Raleigh things?
Yeah,
for a
there's
visitor?
a few things. One thing I will say first, talking about the people that are coming here, is Raleigh does skew slightly younger than the rest of the state, and again, part of that is because of our colleges and universities, and also business and people coming to work here and then deciding to live here. So I think that brings an extra vibrancy to the area. But when those folks are coming here, whether it is the family traveler, the solo, the girlfriend's getaway, or bachelorette weekend, or even we have a lot coming for weddings and things. Some of the first things that I always recommend to people is the North Carolina Museum of Art and the Museum Park. It's one of my personal favorites.
Same.
And I always say it's the not so hidden gem.
Yeah, not anymore.
Not anymore, yeah. Secret's out, but it's a beautiful place. Back in October of 22, they actually redid and reimagined the whole interior, so it does look different. So if you haven't been recently, it did get upgraded. They renovated. They moved pieces around. They put some very old paintings and pieces with some very modern paintings and pieces. So it's definitely worth giving it another look and going again. It's great that it's free to visit. And then the museum park, just being able to get outdoors, 164 acres. And there's over 30 outdoor art installations there. So, there's always something new to uncover to me. And the Cloud Chamber, if you haven't seen that piece yet, that one just opened back up after a renovation about a year or so
is
ago.
That the little shed thing out in?
Yes.
And so you can go inside it. Oh my God, we were there on the weekend. I didn't even know. We went in.
Sunday we were there for
See, now you gotta take another trip, even when you're a resident here.
Sunday we're there for Art in Bloom, which is now finished, unfortunately.
Phenomenal
But that's one of our favourite events. But that whole it's the West Building, correct? Where that is?
West Gallery.
Gallery?
But the cloud things in the sculpture.
Oh yeah, I know.
But the West
yeah. I'm just talking about where the Art in Bloom was.
Art in Bloom is in the
Yeah,
West
that building's fantastic. I love that. And
gorgeous.
And the East Building too. But and the museum park, like you said, amazing. Like the trails around there and the permanent big sculptures and stuff, and
and then
heaps of space for kids to run around or pets.
The Rodin collection, also one of the largest in the U.S. There's also a huge Judaic collection in the museum. So little tidbits that people don't always see, or again, you could miss certain sections and not realize that there's 30 Rodin sculptures from Paris, all at our Museum of Art.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Do you like to bike ride? Do you bike much?
I don't bike much. I have friends that bike.
Okay. Yeah, because I was just going to say, we love doing the Art to Heart Trail, which obviously starts at the Art Museum, and it's 6 miles into downtown. Yeah, I love that trail.
It's the perfect little jaunt. And then with the Cardinal bike share as well, being able to rent those, that's more my speed of rent those and maybe just bike a little around Museum Park and then put it back on.
Yeah. That's actually a really great way for people to move around the city. And I don't think it's something that people know as much.
Agreed.
Yeah. So how easy, just for someone visiting, how easy is it for them to use the bike share? What is it that they have to do?
There's tons of stations all over, not only at the Museum of Art, but all over downtown Raleigh and some surrounding areas. And you can just go up to any of those stations, scan the QR code. It has an app where you just create an account and can log right in to rent one of the bikes, take it off, and you can do, a certain limit of time, or you can do more of a day pass or a monthly pass, even if you're a resident, and be able to use it. I think they run about 45 minutes before you do need to dock them again or switch bikes, but gives you a great option, especially when you're in downtown Raleigh too. If you want to get over from the Longleaf Hotel and the Longleaf Lounge down to Fayetteville Street or something, instead of walking it, you can just easily rent one of those bikes and hop on.
Yeah, we need to do that maybe and create a video or something. I mean, obviously we have our own bikes, but then you got to lug them in on the van from home and stuff like that and mess around to
lock them up somewhere. It's all done for you. You just put it back in another station.
Yeah.
Are there boundary limits to how far you can take them?
That I'm not sure of.
Okay.
You'd have to look. I know the app has all the maps and shows where they're all located.
Yep, cool.
I think because I think you can jaunt over to Village District with them, things like that.
That's great. Yeah, love that.
Yeah, sounds fun. Okay, we have to do that. Obviously, since we first moved here in 2004, the food scene has been thriving and changed a lot.
Oh, so much.
There's some, really creative, award-winning chefs here in town now, and a lot more diversity than there used to be. So, if someone's visiting, for a weekend or 24 hours, 48 hours, you got any particular favorite restaurant experiences or food experiences you recommend?
Definitely. Food is one of my favorite things. I always tell people eating and drinking is my favorite thing to do in Raleigh.
Well, that's how you really get to know a place.
Exactly.
Like the culinary scene and the food and bev.
Exactly, yes. And I'm a big craft beer fan. So a lot of my recommendations usually end up circling back to food and beverage. So, Ashley Christensen's restaurants are, I think, what the Raleigh area is most well known for. She's done a great job revitalizing the restaurant scene in our area, starting with Pool's Diner and then continuing to grow with all her other places. But then also, we have wonderful people like Scott Crawford, who also has been nominated for James Beard Award, and he's getting ready to open a new restaurant called Bradetto. Just in any time now.
Oh, really?
We're waiting.
In where?
It's going to be over by Gateway Plaza.
Okay, cool. Because I know he has the steak place coming to Fenton as well in
Crawford
Cary.
Brothers Steakhouse in Fenton. And then he also is opening Souterre. It's going to be his first bar, and it's going to be underneath Jolie.
Oh, cool.
Because he
bought the Atlantic Lounge.
Yeah. And is he going to have something in RDU as well?
He is. So,
Wow, he's everywhere.
One fun thing about RDU International Airport is that there is so much local food and drink coming into Raleigh. We already have, Raleigh Brewing Company in there, Lone Rider Brewing, Root and Branch is a local store that was first founded by the owners of Deco and Edge of Verge in downtown Raleigh.
Yes. It's a great store in
beautiful.
RDU. I love it.
And you can get actually like North Carolina made products, not just a I love insert city here t-shirt.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's true. RDU is another thing we love about our regional airport, like the local food and beverage options. There's a local coffee shop opening up in there. Is it
Black and White Coffee
That's
Roasters? Which is here in downtown Raleigh and Vadiri, but also in Wake Forest and Rollsville. So talking about the smaller towns again, but they're opening in what was the former big Starbucks spot right when you come through security. So that'll be open spring anytime now, as well as Crawford Genuine, which is one of Scott Crawford's places, and then Oscar Diaz is also opening a restaurant called Adios in the airport as well. So we're gonna have a lot of local chefs, local beer. Bond Brothers Brewing is
I was just going to say, I saw something mentioned about that the other day. Bond Brothers.
Oh, good. I'm glad they are.
So local coffee, local beer, local food. Welcome to Raleigh.
It really is. It is a taste of Raleigh at the airport, and because you're traveling a lot because you're attending conferences and things to sell Raleigh, and so you're in and out of airports. So is it unusual for a city airport to have such a big emphasis on local? It feels like it is.
It is, because I feel like most, y'all are very well traveled as well. Most of the airports you go in, you might find one, maybe two places that seem like they could be local, but everything else is usually chains. Yeah. And so it's really nice in our airport, and that they put an emphasis on front and center. I mean, in Terminal 2, when you come through security and come down the escalators, you have La Farm Bakery, and now you're going to have Black and White Coffee Roasters. Like, those are the first things you see. Yeah. So it's very intentional, but also great that our airport and the airport authority has been able to get all those local restaurateurs in.
I love that, and I feel Raleigh itself has so many local businesses, and I love how you mentioned intentional. Do you feel? I don't know. Has that been intentional as Raleigh has grown, or is it just something that's happened?
I think it is intentional, and I also think it's part of just the nature of Raleigh residents and people that choose to live here. Everyone really has a collaborative culture, wants to help each other out. It's more about collaborating and lifting each other up than it is competing against each other. So you will see local businesses helping each other, supporting each other, hosting events together, doing block parties together, things like that. And so I do think it is very intentional. And, when places like the airport authority come together and say, like, hey, we want to help promote this, are there local businesses interested? Plenty of people jumped at that chance. So I do think it's very intentional and another beautiful aspect of our city.
I love that, and I think I got two things to say. Hopefully I won't forget them. But I love how I'm assuming, because local experience is such a big part of why people travel now. They want to go and experience what a culture is truly like. So I'm assuming that makes your job easier to sell Raleigh, because you can say pretty much it's all local. Also, even though we mentioned before Durham is separate to Raleigh, I feel like with the triangle, like Visit Raleigh and Visit Durham, you all kind of collaborate together as well.
We do, and especially, I mean, when you talk about, I also oversee international tourism efforts for us, which is another growing thing for our airport. We're at a record number of international nonstop flights. So when you weave in that international component, I mean, we know they're not, when travelers are coming here, they're not spending 2 weeks just in Raleigh. They're going to come in and spend a couple of days and then go explore the rest of the triangle and probably the rest of the state, if not a couple states. So,
because you get Chapel Hill as well, obviously.
Exactly.
Which is cool.
And they want to go tour and see, the different universities, and then they want to head out to the coast or to the mountains. So we all work together really well to help promote our beautiful state. But we all just love the local community that's here. Going back to your comment about local businesses and how we talked about our airport, downtown Raleigh is 90% restaurant and retail locally owned.
That's
and of
so
that, almost
great.
half are women and minority owned. So that's really cool. And not many downtowns can say that. Most downtowns that you walk around, you see a lot of chains, a lot of Starbucks, a lot of McDonald's. But we really only have a handful of those in our downtown core, and it's really special. And you notice that even in like downtown Cary as well. Very similar vibe.
Yes,
yeah, totally.
So true. And Apex, like
and
Salem
Apex.
Street, it's just all local.
I call Salem Street our Hallmark Street. Like, it looks like a Hallmark movie. It's so beautiful. And
Yeah,
it's
that works.
if you want true, authentic, southern, smaller town, that's downtown Apex for you.
Absolutely. My parents came to visit and we took them to Apex and they fell in love. They're like, oh my gosh, it's like the movies.
Totally. Keeping with the local theme, even PNC Arena. It's like if someone's coming in to go to a Canes hockey game or Wolfpack basketball or to a concert, maybe you're coming to see Pink later in the year, which would be cool. Even they have local food and beverage, like Gonza Tacos.
Yes.
There's Two Roosters ice cream. The Optimus coffee, I believe, is in there now. And several more other local. It's not just like your typical
The
stadium.
barbecue lab.
Yeah, the
is
barbecue
in there
lab,
now,
which
too.
is great barbecue. Yeah, so it's not just your typical stadium food or whatever. Like
You're spot on.
Yeah, go to PNC Arena and get a taste of Raleigh as well.
Exactly.
Locally.
And that's something, again, that's changed, and there's been a real focus on that growth and making it more local again, so that it's not just the chains that are in there. Last time I went to an NC State basketball game at PNC, I literally had barbecue lab and Two Roosters ice cream.
There you go.
They also have a Cane Tracks ice cream flavor just for PNC for the Hurricanes games. So that's a fun one too. You'll have to try.
Yeah, I'm probably missing a few. I
Excuse
think
to go back.
I'm pretty sure I've had Linwood Brewing beer in there too as well.
yeah,
I don't know.
yes,
I don't know if
for
it was
sure.
a fixed location or like a pop up.
No, they have a couple beer locations
like
in
stations
PNC,
or something,
in
yeah.
PNC, yeah.
Yeah, another
And
great
Deep
local
River
brewery.
Brewing Company in Johnston County, I think it's in there as well.
Oh, great. We're actually on the weekend doing a e-bike tour on the Greenway that's going to stop at Deep River. Yeah, brewing.
That'll be
Yeah,
fun.
shout out to Joko, our friendly neighbours down there.
Yes, love working with Joko as well.
Yeah.
The country to our city.
Exactly. I love that.
There you go. You're coming up with all the slogans. Wow.
In all fairness, shout out to Ashby with Visit Johnston County Visitors Bureau. We kind of came up with that together, doing
it.
so many media events together over the years and promoting both cities in conjunction with each other.
I love
Yeah.
it. There's that collaboration again. I love
Exactly.
it. There's
Yeah, I guess
power
you need
in
that.
coming
Like,
together.
in the content creators space and the space that you work in, we often cross paths with Jess and Ashby at like speed dating events. I guess we have 15 minutes to sit down with a destination or content people like us. So, yeah, I guess that's part of your spiel, those slogans and stuff. When you're talking.
Yeah, they just end up coming out naturally half the
Yeah.
time, or we talk about something, and again, no different than picking someone's brain on what they're interested in, and then all of a sudden they ask about farming or agritourism or something, and it naturally just weaves in like, well, we have some. Let me send you over here to Ashby at Johnston County.
Yeah. I love it. It's only like 20 to 40 minute drive
Right,
away.
exactly.
Yep, so easy. And you mentioned a couple of things that Scott Crawford has got opening up this year. Is there any other exciting things planned in Raleigh? Any new experiences, restaurants, etc., that's opening up?
Yeah, lots of new restaurants opening up. We constantly have new breweries, bars, restaurants, things like that opening in the area. Two of my personal favorites that have recently opened are Aja from Chef Chidi Kumar. So she previously owned Garland. And so Aja focuses on on Middle Eastern and Mediterranean cuisine, and is kind of just near the Five Points district. So stunning restaurant, great outdoor patio there, fire pits, everything. And then Madre in Smoky Hollow is just phenomenal. They just launched their brunch menu, and if you haven't tried their chicken and donut, it's phenomenal.
Ooh. Wow.
But also their dinner menu, the cauliflower, is one of my favorite things to get there, and they continually launch new seasonal cocktail menus.
Great.
Excited to head back and check out everything coming out for spring.
Awesome. They're opening a bar too, aren't they?
They are. They just took over the what was the new Anthem space, and they're going to be opening a bar right there, kind of diagonal, right across from Madre.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very cool.
Now, beer. You love your beer, as you mentioned. Let's talk about breweries and stuff. I know there's how many breweries would you say there are now in Raleigh? Do you know roughly? Like 30? 50. Oh, wow.
I mean, some are second locations, and
Okay.
obviously certain breweries have more than one spot in the area. Trophy Brewing, for example, is one of my favorites, and they have multiple locations. But then, we just got like a Salty Turtle Brewing Company, which is from the coast, and they decided to open a location in Raleigh. So we have a handful of places that are opened somewhere else in the state, and now are opening a location here in Raleigh as well.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
great.
I was going to play it safe and say like 30 plus, but yeah, if there's like 50, that's great. I've said this before, but like we've been fortunate to taste beers in some of the top beer producing cities in the US, like San Diego, Portland, Denver, Seattle. And I've had some of my best beers right here in Raleigh.
I wholeheartedly agree.
And now, and a lot of people might not realize that there's a Raleigh Beer Trail. So can we talk about the Beer Trail and what that entails? And because I think they've revamped it recently.
We did just revamp it, yes. So it used to be a print paper trail that you would go around to the breweries and get a stamp and submit the picture of your printed passport at the end. Now it is all digital, so it makes it a bit easier, and you can still then redeem right through the app or the website for your prizes. But yeah, you can go to each brewery and digitally check in and visit, whichever ones are closest to you where you're visiting, or if you want to take the time even as a resident and explore all of them all over. That's always my goal.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, are you up to date with how many you've ticked off? Like, have you been to every brewery? Or you're working on it?
I'm literally going this weekend with a colleague to tick off another 2 on my list, and I think I will be at every brewery's first location by that point. There's a couple of them I haven't gotten to the second locations yet, but and that's for all of Wake County too. Our surrounding towns have some great breweries too that I think sometimes get forgotten about.
Yeah. Do you know what was the original first craft brewery in Raleigh?
That still exists, I believe, is Carolina Brewing Company in Holly Springs. They opened in the 90s.
Wow.
And they
And
still
they
exist
opened in
here.
Holly Springs originally, did they?
Yes.
I think
even knew that.
their headquarters is still there.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, because I remember when we first moved over in 2004 and we used to go to the beer fest, the Raleigh Beer Fest, and they were always like the only local representation.
Yeah, they've been here since the 90s, and before, you could even brew beer above like 5 or 6%.
Yeah.
Before they changed all those laws. So now, now you can get a 10% or something, but.
And more. We were at Dram and Draft on Friday, and a friend, no, he was from New York. He lives here now. He ordered a sour, which was 14%. It was more like a stout. It was like,
you can get a lot. Burial has some great ones too that are somewhere between 10 to 14%.
Wow.
Yeah.
And donut stouts and barley wines and different things like that.
That's crazy. Like if I say to everyone, like in Australia, it's like 4.9, 5.5%. Maybe that's a little bit higher now because I haven't been there for quite some time, but definitely nowhere near like 10, 11, and 12. So, yeah. Do you have like top 3 favorite breweries that you often go back to?
Now
Can
you're
I
asking
ask you that? Top 5?
You have to get out
Top
your
10?
rating, your app.
Well, let me start by saying one of my...
You've left the most reviews on Untapped or something? I don't know.
I do. I check them all in on Untapped. But, I really love the Raleigh Beer Garden just because they have the Guinness World Record for most number of different beers on draft. And it is fun to say that because I have traveled. I've been to Germany and gone to Oktoberfest in Munich. I've been to Belgium and been to, some of the breweries there that have Guinness World Records, but to have in our own backyard a place that has the most beer on draft, 360 some different beers, is pretty phenomenal. My friends actually hate going there with me because I spend so long looking through the menu and figuring out what I want to drink because there's so many great options. But they also have a little bit of everything. If one of their best sellers is Red Oak, so from just about an hour outside of Raleigh, you can get a Red Oak, you can get an IPA from Wicked Weed, but you can get things from all over the state from the North Carolina floor, but then they also have another floor that's all domestic and international beer. So a little bit of everything to try there.
Yeah.
Because there's like 3 levels, and isn't there a different focus on each level?
Yeah. So there's a cocktail lounge in the very front called the Spiritual Lounge. And then the back half of that has North Carolina beers. Second floor has the whole national and international beers. Top level has just a small handful of draft beer. They also have a can area in the back now by the fire pits and all.
Okay.
And they also, you can even take kids and stuff there. They have cornhole and outdoor activities, life-size Connect 4, things like that too. So really family friendly.
It is a good space.
It's
Like, we've taken our kids there before, because it's so huge out the back there. And, that can, is that like a shipping container or an Airstream type thing, or what is that?
Yeah. They have an Airstream, I think, with some drafts on it, and then they kind of just set up in a corner, a little area, doing just canned beer.
Yeah.
My favourite thing about Raleigh Beer Garden is the tree in the front.
In the Spiritual Cocktail Lounge.
It's
Stunning.
gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I know when we, in
And
London, in Waxy O'Connor's in London, I don't know if you've been there.
I have not.
It's an Irish pub in London, and it has this gigantic tree growing through the middle of it as well, which I always loved when I lived there. And then when I went to Raleigh Beer Garden, I was like, oh my God, they have a tree too. It's just a cool place to hang out.
And what's your favourite style of beer?
I'm a dark beer girl, so I really like porters and stouts, even in the summer. So I'm a big fan. That kind of going back to your other question of favorite breweries in Raleigh. Burial is one of my favorites. I know they're from Asheville, but they have a location here, and they make some just phenomenal stouts.
Yeah.
So I always love going there, and because Transfer Co. Food Hall is right there, I can get some food, have some great beers all in one place. Trophy Brewing Company does one of my favorite year-round, one of my favorite all-time beers probably is Slingshot Coffee Porter. So using local Slingshot coffee. Yeah.
That's great.
So that one's phenomenal as well. And then Fungi's Brewing is one of my other favorites here. They do some funky stuff with some smoothie sickle beers. And so sometimes, they have some sour beers. They have, when I want a little variety or something different, they always have some funky new creation going on at Fungi's. And so I really like to check out their beer as well.
We haven't been there yet, but so many people have raved to us about Fungi's.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's the most underrated brewery in our
Actually,
area. It's the one people don't know about.
Took the question out of my mouth. Is there one that, it's a bit underrated and should be more? I mean, I think it is well known locally within the locals. Every brewery has their diehard fans, I guess, and their drinkers and stuff. But Fungi's for
Fungi's.
under the radar.
Under the radar for sure, but phenomenal beer, all kinds of different styles, and they do some fun events as well. They put on a great Oktoberfest event each year.
Oh, okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, because all the breweries, they kind of specialize in different style of beer. Well, most of them do anyway, and some have a bit of everything.
Right, and you will find a lot of IPAs. I know a lot of people are into IPA. You'll find a lot of those around, but just not really my style. So I go more for like the Burial dark beers.
Yeah,
I know, the beer trail is a reason many people love to come here. But even for people who don't drink beer, Raleigh now has a great number of cocktail bars and wine bars, even a dry bar in downtown. So there are so many cool options popping up around. Do you have any of those that you recommend and love? And
rooftop bars.
Rooftop bars.
We definitely have so many of those. Some of my favorites, Foundation is an underground bar.
That's fun.
So that's one of my favorites. Not also just like Watson Ward, very big underground space. Great cocktails. I love to get a good old fashioned from either one of those places. But, you know, then I do love the rooftop bars. And we have some great rooftop bars that are rooftop bars and restaurants, too. So I just recently went back to Taverna Agora and forgot how much I love that place and the patio.
Oh, man.
And
Is there a
with
better
the spring
place
weather.
to dine on a rooftop bar
Right?
than like brunch or lunch
You
or
feel
dinner?
like you're in Greece.
You do.
Yeah.
It is Greece.
It
Every
is.
time I go up there.
And
love it.
what's the Greek wine that you have? The
Retsina.
Retsina.
I
Yeah.
love a glass of Retsina.
Refreshing.
They do some flavored Moscow mules as well that are really good.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
been a while
gonna
since
get
we've
back
been
there
back there,
soon.
but
Yeah.
it's coming into the perfect season to dine outside.
It is, and same thing. Hibernian on Glenwood South, great little patio there as well. That's one of my favorites to get a good Irish Guinness and
Irish coffee,
everything.
espresso martini. Like we were there on Saturday for St. Patrick's, their block party. It was packed. We walked upstairs
I'm
because
sure.
we haven't been upstairs to the rooftop for quite a while, and you forget how nice it is up there.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of St. Patrick's Day, festivals, we said, brings a lot of people in. What are some of your favourite festivals that Raleigh... And they're just so unique. As you said before, you can find a festival or an event that suits any interest, but what's kind of some that you really love and I think are great for the city?
Yeah, you can really find, you know, an event or festival, no matter how old you are, what you're interested in, anything like that. Some of my favorites and what we find that are visitors' favorites too, coming up is the Dreamville Festival. So J. Cole is putting on that festival. It's coming up just at the beginning of April, first weekend in April. And this year, Nicki Minaj is going to be performing at it as well. So that'll be fun. But that festival actually brings in people from all 50 states and over 20 countries.
That's amazing. 20 countries.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Incredible.
We went for the first time last year. We were a bit slow to get off. But yeah, I was researching that and it's like, yeah, from all over the world. It's crazy.
All
but I
over
guess,
the
you
world.
know, like big artists like J. Cole and Usher was there last year and Drake, obviously.
Exactly.
But, so yeah, I'm not sure if we're going this year yet, but even this location being in Dix Park, which is awesome, adds to it.
Yes,
So,
and I mean 100,000 people over 2 days.
Yeah.
But they're really growing the activations. So there'll be some activations in downtown Raleigh on
yeah?
Friday night that you can take part in. They do some different artist panels and panels on like music production, things like that.
That's so
really
cool.
growing and evolving the festival
Do you
itself.
think something like that, because I know there's the Hopscotch Festival and then the Bluegrass do little activations and that. Is that something you feel is unique to Raleigh, or have you seen that kind of stuff in other cities?
You know, I think it's a mix. I think other cities do have some of that, but
Okay.
the real push to grow outside of, you know, just holding a festival itself and also making it more accessible to everyone. So even when Bluegrass was here, you know, it started as a paid ticketed event and then grew into having these free components so that it's accessible to everyone. Anyone can attend. Yes, you may not buy tickets to go to a specific, you know, the award show or Red Hat Amphitheater, but you can still go up and just walk up on the street and see some free bluegrass. And Hopscotch is no different with the day parties that you can pop around all different venues and just walk right in and see a free show. So I think it's part of that kind of community component of really wanting to make events accessible to everyone.
I really love that. And I just think what a great way to love the community that's hosting these festivals and bringing people from everywhere in. It's easy for it to turn to be something that's here just for visitors, but it's just such a great way to...
Or just an event for profit and that's
yes,
it.
Yeah.
So you
Yep.
think these activations you're talking about for Dreamville, they'll be free, like non-ticketed as well?
Yeah,
Or 'cause-
some of them were free. Yeah, a lot of them have been free even in years past. I will admit the lines are quite long to get in, so you have to get there early to get in because they have a big draw. But yeah, those downtown Raleigh ones are free to participate in.
Yeah, that's cool because Dreamville is popular, and if you can't get a ticket to Dreamville,
Right.
there's options.
Yeah, I think all that's left is like certain VIP level tickets. I think all the general admission are already sold out for this year.
Speaking of Dreamville and a lot of people, what about hotels and accommodation? I know there's some projects in the works for adding to hotel capacity in and around Raleigh?
Yeah, we have a couple new hotels that are getting ready to open. We have a dual brand property that is a Tempo and a Homewood Suites that's getting ready to open in downtown Raleigh, and it'll have a rooftop bar on it. So, another reason
Cool.
all of
We're
our
going to be
residents love.
taking over Nashville's rooftop bar scene soon.
Exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, that's going to be a great property. Steps from the convention center, really helpful when we have meetings, events, and conventions and sporting events in the Raleigh Convention Center. And then it was just announced a few months ago, but we're getting an Omni property in downtown Raleigh, right in front of the
Performing Arts Center.
Performing Arts Center, yes.
I believe. Correct. Yes.
So that's going to be a 550-room hotel.
When is that due to be completed, do you know, roughly?
The estimate is 2027, so it's going to be a minute, but
Sure.
It's still going to be a huge asset to Raleigh, and that will come on the heels in conjunction with a lot of big developments, the Raleigh Convention Center expansion, the moving of Red Hat Amphitheater, and then upgrades as well to PNC Arena.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that. Cool. And obviously there's some boutique-y type accommodation as well. It's on offer if people don't want general hotels.
Definitely. One of my favorites is the Heights House Hotel. So if you haven't been there, the great thing about Heights House is, again, weaving in that community component. It is a beautiful 9-room historic Italianate style mansion. But again, if you're a resident here, you may not be staying there. They do have a cocktail bar called the Parlor, excuse me. So you can go to the Parlor at the Heights House and have a cocktail, sit on the front porch, sit in the drawing room, sit by a fire pit outside, and really get that experience of the hotel in this historic renovated mansion without having to stay there.
Yeah, I think they've just started a high tea experience or something.
Yes, they offer
as well.
afternoon tea.
Afternoon tea,
I've done it. It's phenomenal. You don't need to eat before you go. It will be your lunch for the day.
Afternoon tea. Okay.
Afternoon
so is
tea.
that same as a high tea that you'd get in England?
Yes, you can sign up on their website.
Your sandwiches and your baked goods and stuff.
Exactly. Multi-tiered.
Yeah, I love that. Awesome.
Nice.
Desserts, finger sandwiches. I think when I went, you pick your kind of tea you want. You can add a glass of champagne on if you want with that as well, and then do a sandwich course and a dessert course. Phenomenal options there.
Yeah. You must, because you have a lot of visiting journalists and things come in. It must be a lot of fun for you to put together an itinerary for them to do, because just hearing you talk about all these different things, we really do have such rich, unique experiences that anyone can enjoy.
We do, and that's the thing. Again, it goes back to just depending on what they're interested in. We set up familiarization tours for journalists, and of course staying at Heights House or going to the Parlor, eating at these fabulous James Beard restaurants we've talked about. But then on the other hand, I'm getting ready to host a group of golf journalists, and they're going to go to Lonnie Pool and play golf, and go to Rush Hour Karting in Morrisville and experience Angus Barn, one of our oldest and most well-known restaurants. So there's such a variety of ways you can lean those itineraries, and then none of that even touches like a family-friendly itinerary or a more sports focused outside of golf itinerary. So lots of different options.
Even though we live here, we've done a staycation at the State View Hotel on Centennial Campus, which is right near Lonnie Pool Golf Course. Will they be staying there or somewhere else?
They are. The State View, is our
Cool.
great partner working with us for that group. And again, that close proximity right there to Lonnie Pool Golf Course, and then even having the Lake Raleigh in the back.
Oh, yeah.
Stunning.
It's gorgeous.
It's like tucked away in you're in the forest, but you're
are.
literally like a couple of minutes from downtown.
You are,
Like,
and
it's
they're
very
a
cool.
great partner with NC State University too, and do a lot of events with the university.
So accommodation, cool. I mean, obviously a lot of people coming here for sporting and festival events, so it's good to see that we've got some new options coming up in that regard.
So you mentioned families there. Now, we know the Triangle area is a great place for families to live. What about visitors coming here? What can they expect for a family to experience and enjoy?
Yeah, so one of our most visited attractions in Raleigh is the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences. I love going there, whether, when you have a family and have kids of all ages, it's a great museum. It is free to visit again, so works great with a budget. It's also a fun date night or date afternoon. I've gone a couple of times in the afternoon just to explore, and it's so fun. But I'm really excited because in April 27th, they're opening up their Dueling Dinosaurs exhibit, and that exhibit will be free as well. You do have to register online because it's going to be very busy, but there'll be a paleontologist on site there that you can talk to, and it's an open air lab where you can really see them uncovering fossils of what they think is going to be the world's most complete tyrannosaur. So you get to be there firsthand and see and experience this for yourself. And so I think that just brings out the kid of all ages for all of us.
Yeah, we love going there. Like 4 levels of, everything that you can see there. It's very cool. Plus a host of events that we've been to, and I guess like Marbles Kids Museum too is pretty cool in Moore Square.
Yes, Marbles is great. That is one of our few museums that there is a small fee to attend, but so worthwhile, very fun. And that, especially if you have younger children, like very young, toddler age, that's a great museum for them. A lot of tactile and STEM activities there. And then they do a fun event multiple times through the year called 21 Marbles, which I highly recommend for the adults. It's an opportunity where you can go to Marbles all with other people 21 and older. They serve alcohol, and you get to play on all the exhibits, and you can play in the little vet area, and you can climb on the pirate ship, and it's a lot of fun. My friends and I have done it a couple times, so I highly recommend. Again, if you're someone who doesn't have children like me, you may not go into Marbles, but when you have that opportunity with 21 Marbles, that way you can experience it for yourself, and it's a lot of fun.
That's so fun. I haven't heard of that before. I would love to just be in there and watch everyone be like a kid again.
I joke with the staff that they have to do more cleanup after the adults are there than when the kids are there.
Yeah, and obviously a lot of the outdoor stuff like the parks and trails and lakes and stuff are very family friendly, and of course Pullen Park is the obvious kids' dream, I guess.
Of course.
More for the younger kids, I suppose, but any child.
Kids of all ages and families riding the train, and then especially around the holidays, their holiday train event is the hot ticket.
That is
in
popular.
Raleigh.
Seems like almost getting Taylor Swift tickets, because I saw an update recently in a Facebook group about it's challenging to get tickets.
Yes.
So yeah, you got to get in early for that one.
For sure.
But you can ride the train any time of year, I think.
Yeah,
I don't think it shuts down, not even winter.
Yeah,
so.
they just have other activities in Santa, of course.
We've done many a lap on that train when the kids were younger, I must say.
I loved it,
Like $1 for every time I've done a lap of the train.
Yeah, it was the first park in North Carolina, so fun little history
but
there too.
Yeah, the old carousel or carousel. I don't know how I say things half the time. Carousel.
Yeah.
And the boats out on the lake and stuff. It's fun.
Yeah, the pedal boats.
Yeah. Well, I could sit here and talk to you for another hour about Raleigh.
As could I. I'm clearly very passionate about it.
But you've really just highlighted once again why we think it's an incredible place, not just to live, but for people coming to visit here. It really is about local and the vibrancy that you can experience no matter what you love. So in wrap up, if you were to describe the culture and the atmosphere of Raleigh to someone thinking of visiting, or even people that live here, how would you sum it up?
I definitely think overall the Raleigh area is very diverse, very eclectic, and it's kind of a mosaic of different pieces that all comes together, whether it's, going from the arts to the music to sports to food, and everything in between there. But they all kind of collectively come together, and back to what we talked about with the collaboration and vibrancy of our city. I think that's the goal, and that's, what makes so many people want to live here. And a lot of times when people come to live in Raleigh, it all starts with a visit, and so they have to come visit Raleigh.
True, yeah, so true. I love the word mosaic. I love how you've said that a couple of times now. I think it's great.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Jess. Appreciate that. And thanks, everybody, for listening. We will drop some relevant links in the show notes about the certain topics we just discussed. Please share this episode with a friend, anyone who's visiting from out of town, and subscribe to our podcasts on all the obvious podcast channels.
Yep, and you can follow Jess over at Visit Raleigh. Yep. Is that right?
Yep. VisitRaleigh.com. You can hashtag Visit Raleigh or check us out on any of our social channels at Visit Raleigh on Instagram, Facebook, or X.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jess. Or X.
Formerly Twitter.
Only saying conversations allowed.
We're still saying that?
You can cut that out.
Seems like it. No.
We don't use it as much anymore.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.